Governor General Julie Payette is leaving her post. This after an independent review into reports of abusive workplace behavior. The Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine delays are growing. The shipment expected to arrive next month in Canada is much less than originally planned. A live look at our city there. We got to enjoy some gorgeous sun today, a really nice sunset as well. And we have some more clouds ahead in the coming days. Colette Kennedy will bring us the full forecast later in the show. I'm Katerina Georgieva. Chris is away. Governor General Julie Payette is leaving her post. Sources have confirmed to CBC that she is resigning. This after that independent review into reports of abusive workplace behavior at Rideau Hall. Olivia Stefanovic has the latest.
After facing numerous accusations of bullying and harassment, sources tell CBC News Julie Payette is stepping down as Governor General. The bombshell comes after the Privy Council office launched an unprecedented third-party workplace review of Rideau Hall last summer, following a CBC News report featuring a dozen public servants and former employees confidentially claiming Payette had belittled, berated, and publicly humiliated her staff.
I think I left devastated almost every day. And it made it hard to it had an impact on my family because I was stressed.
Payette's secretary and longtime friend Assunta Di Lorenzo also faced bullying allegations and has resigned as well. The report into the workplace environment at Rideau Hall is now in the hands of the Privy Council. The details are confidential, but CBC News has learned well over 50 Rideau Hall employees participated in the investigation, far more than expected.
I think the Office of Governor General is now in crisis, and it matter needs to be dealt with calmly and rationally.
The question now is who will replace Payette in the long term. Supreme Court of Canada Chief Justice Richard Wagner is the Deputy Governor General and will step in Payette's role for the time being. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Ottawa.
Ottawa has offered an update on deliveries of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. On Tuesday, it confirmed Canada wouldn't be getting any shots from Pfizer next week. Today, the Vaccine Task Force announced there would be vials of vaccines coming early next month, but the first week will be 80% less than originally expected.
Pfizer informed us this morning that we can expect around 79,000 doses for the first week of February. So despite this bump on the road, Pfizer continues to assure us that they're on track to meet the total allocation of 4 million doses to Canada by the end of March. To that end, we expect a rapid scale-up of deliveries in the upcoming weeks following this current supply disruption.
Ontario's COVID-19 Science Advisory Table says if the province accelerated its vaccine rollout, hundreds of cases and dozens of deaths in long-term care would be prevented. It found that if all residents got their first dose by the end of this month, more than 100 lives would be saved by the end of March. That's compared to the province's current goal to vaccinate all residents by mid-February. Angelina King has more on the latest.
There are about 70,000 people living in long-term care homes in Ontario. About half have been vaccinated for COVID-19. Jennifer Penny's mom wasn't one of them. She died of the virus on Boxing Day before she could get her shot.
It's hard that she's gone and there's a big void and the circumstances of how she left.
Yvette Brock died in a home during an outbreak of nearly 200 cases between staff and residents. Her daughter wishes the vaccine rollout was more efficient.
If she would have had the vaccine, she wouldn't have passed away.
Ontario's COVID-19 Science Advisory Table found if all long-term care residents got their first dose by today, 2,800 cases and 530 deaths would be prevented until the end of March. Compare that to the province's target of vaccinating all residents by February 15th, when 1,200 cases would be prevented and 225 deaths.
I consider this honestly to be a breathtaking failure.
Dr. Nathan Stahl says the province deviated from its protocol of prioritizing long-term care since some outside healthcare workers got their shots first.
We had enough supply in our province to vaccinate every long-term care home resident by the end of December 2020, and we have not gotten the job done. But now we're in this situation where we're leaving tens of thousands of long-term care residents vulnerable and tens of thousands of more retirement home residents vulnerable.
And with the supply shortage, people like Dorothy Argent Hoskin are still waiting.
A little disappointing from our point of view. We could sort of see the light at the end of the tunnel, and then, the light went out for a bit.
99-year-old Argent Hoskin was supposed to get the vaccine this week, but her retirement home isn't deemed high risk, so it's been pushed until at least March, a concern for her son when she can't leave her room.
It would just be so nice to have the vaccine and be able to have her sitting downstairs in their, common area and seeing other people.
With the low supply, the advisory table says it would be more beneficial to give long-term care residents first doses rather than administer second doses to healthcare workers outside of the homes. The health ministry says it'll continue vaccinating people inside long-term care and high-risk retirement homes, and says in the coming weeks it'll be able to vaccinate 40,000 people a day. Angelina King, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, here in Windsor-Essex, the health unit says that all long-term care homes have gotten their first doses, those who wanted them and were eligible for them. And most people at retirement homes have gotten their shots as well. 3 more people have died of COVID-19 in Windsor-Essex, but there is some hope in that the downward trend of new cases continues. 101 new cases today, but the health unit says it doesn't mean that we can ease up with the measures. The health unit also provided an update on the latest in the agri-farm sector. There are currently 11 outbreaks on farms with 57 active cases. Here's more on farms from the health unit.
255 people have now resolved. 104 people are isolating in the hotel. As with all of the farms, our public health inspectors work directly with the farm operators to manage the outbreak.
The pandemic has changed everything about how we do things, and for those on the front lines especially. I spoke with a registered nurse who spent much of the last year working in the psychiatric ward in Windsor Regional Hospital. Soon he'll be starting a new job at a medical ward in Detroit. He talks about what he's observed and what it's been like for him. Given the mental health challenges that have come with COVID to begin with, what kinds of challenges have you been seeing in the patients?
Oh, a lot more, a lot more stress. Like, because you got people that were ranging from, schizophrenia to bipolar to anxiety disorders to situational crisis to what you name it, suicidal things, depression, etc. I've seen a lot more people having longer stays on psychiatry than typical. A lot more readmissions happened, and one thing I did see a lot was a lot more younger people. A lot of young people, and a lot more, the youngest we could have was 16 years old. So a lot of like young 16-year-olds with depression. Another thing that I see too a lot since this whole thing has started is just talking about addictions is that like a lot more overdoses, suicidal things related to overdose, not just with kids and with adults too. People have had a really good hold on their addiction, their alcoholism, their depression and things like that. And now they're sitting at home, gyms and stuff are closed, liquor stores are open. They're at home by themselves with nothing to do, so they're going to drink, and then you end up in a situation, you know what I mean? And we just try to help you the best that we can, for sure.
And how hard was that for you, being that person trying to help them and knowing that the situation is more difficult now given the pandemic? What was that like for you?
It's just, you just try to provide the support that you can, because even us as nurses, we're going through the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm a very social person myself. So it's like, I can really, I can really empathize and sympathize with these, and it's not just kids, it's adults, and it's not just depression, it's other symptoms.
So tell me about this decision to no longer be at Windsor Regional Hospital and go on to Detroit.
It's interesting. Like that's why I said it's going to be good that it's just it's a 15-bed unit, especially with the state of things in Detroit. Obviously, way more cases than we have, but I mean, I'm a nurse at the end of the day, and we were faced with tuberculosis and pneumonia and a lot of other respiratory and infectious processes, and I was a PSW for 10 years, and there was a lot of things I could have caught by that in that job. And it's just you're a nurse, you should be able to know how to protect yourself the right way, and I can't be terrified of kind of a disease or an illness because that's my job. I'm working with diseases and illness. That's why people come to the hospital. So
you heard from Coates about some of the challenges, but he also shared with me some of the ways in which he unwinds and seeks out joy in difficult times. And it may or may not involve some dancing. We will show you some of that later in the show. People who own service businesses in Windsor-Essex say they're confused about Ontario's most recent stay-at-home order.
Grooming should have been deemed essential. I think it's unfair the way everything was done, where, people can go in, buy their pet food at Costco, buy it at Walmart. Meanwhile, you're so much safer at our store.
This owner also sells pet food, but can only offer curbside pickup. He says it's unfair that people can still shop at big box stores. He says his income is down because of the lockdown, but he looks forward to the summer when he hopes to see business pick up again. It's not the only business that's trying to navigate the orders. It's made work difficult for a local cleaning company as well.
I'm trying to be as cautious as I can be too, so I'm only going to a few houses right now, because also the law kind of is vague right now. You're not supposed to mix households, right? So it's kind of hard with my position.
Windsor is the first Canadian city to partner with the Ford Motor Company on a program to improve traffic safety. Its new software program will figure out which areas of the city need improving, all from inside Ford vehicles. Dale Molnar explains.
If you own a Ford vehicle purchased after 2017, your vehicle collects data like when the collision avoidance system is activated or how fast the car is going. The car transmits that info along with the location of where it occurred to computers at Ford over a cellular network. The Safety Insights program combines it with collision data collected by the city to paint a picture of where the more dangerous areas of the city are. The city can then make decisions about things like traffic signal timing or physical changes to the roadway.
Sometimes it could be a change in policy or providing information to police about where enforcement might be better to address, for instance, a speeding issue that's resulting in collisions.
This collaboration will contribute to safer roads and more efficient traffic planning and infrastructure in the city of Windsor, and it will strengthen Windsor's growing reputation as the automobility capital of Canada.
The data collected also includes some information about the vehicle, such as its VIN number, but Ford says that information is not shared with the city. The car owner has to activate the system. Ford says only data from car owners that have given consent to them will be used. Ontario's former privacy commissioner believes that gives the car owner more assurances.
I think that's the way to go, because the whole point is you want individuals to have the choice as to whether they want to be tracked or not.
There are millions of Ford vehicles on the road with the connectivity capability and tens of thousands in the Windsor area.
Still a significant number that can be generating this data, again, in that sort of aggregate view to help power very rich insights about overall driving trends.
The Windsor-Essex Economic Development Corporation has acquired a $30,000 FedDev Ontario grant for the program, which will last for a year. It should be up and running in about a few months. Dale Molnar, CBC News, Windsor.
Windsor Police Chief Pam Mizuno says police are changing how they're tracking emergency responses to overdoses. At today's police board meeting, she said they're now collecting data on the order in which services show up to those calls. Police had to pull that data manually from reports about the incidents, which took a lot of time. Mizuno says this could help the service decide if more officers will carry naloxone. Currently, only 3 units carry the kits, which help reverse the effects of an opioid overdose. Earlier this week, City Council passed a motion supporting the idea that Windsor police officers carry the drug. Mizuno also gave an update on progress made on 37 recommendations by the Ontario Civilian Police Commission. The report was done in light of a number of concerns from within the service about the workplace, as well as how a 911 call to the house of former Chief Al Frederick was handled. She says that 8 of the recommendations have been completed in full, but some that were supposed to be completed this month have been delayed. One recommendation the board has approved is the creation of a community police advisory committee. It's meant to help strengthen ties between the police and the community.
I mean, I'm certain that, the advisory committee could be a committee that could make some recommendations to the police service on initiatives that can be undertaking, of course, to increase the diversity and representation from some of those diverse groups in our community, to the board and to the service on issues that we can do to help with the recruitment.
One other decision made at the meeting today, Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkens was re-elected chair of the board. The town of Kingsville is without a fire chief. In a release, the town says it's moved in a different direction with its leadership. Fire Chief Chuck Parsons is no longer employed. The town thanks him for his good service to the community. This decision comes after an independent review was carried out on the department in October. That was partly because of a water rescue in September that went awry. Parsons was the chief in Kingsville for about 4 years. The town has not yet announced his replacement. This Saturday, a local man will be celebrating his 100th birthday. Gerald Tino was born on January 23rd, 1921, a century of tales and discoveries. Tino takes us through the big changes that have happened along the way here in Windsor.
My mother and father, they were married in 1915 and at St. Anne's Church in Tecumseh. And that's where I was baptized.
It was kind of a dilemma. We didn't know what we're going to do because of the lockdown and the COVID.
Oh, I'll miss it, that's for sure. I miss the gatherings. That's what we used to do.
And then my sister suggested, well, why don't we have a drive to have 100 cards sent to him?
Oh, I got a lot of cards. I just got 10 more today. I got about 30 so far or more.
Dad's always been a very active person outdoors. He's probably, up still at 6 o'clock in the morning.
And I always moved around. I was in the Army and I walked, and since I've been here, I've been walking around here. I was going on the bike every day till I can't go out of my room. And movement. Keep moving. I think that's the main thing.
You get to your stage of this life at 100 years old, and then you're faced with the granddaddy of them all. So it's kind of, you wonder what he's thinking.
I remember 1929, that's for sure. When the bridge opened here, I walked across. I was about 7 years old.
He's never been somebody that needed the biggest car or the nicest car on the street or the biggest house. His friends were his friends, his family were his family, and that's what he passed on to us.
I love seeing all those old photos. Happy birthday, Gerald. Here's another live look at our city. I would love another day like this one. We had some awesome sunshine. Colette Kennedy will join us after the break to let us know what we can or can't expect. And remember that nurse that I spoke with and I mentioned that he does some things to unwind and find some joy? Well, there he is with a dancing break. He says he hopped on the TikTok bandwagon during the pandemic, and he says it's a happy distraction from some of the tough times. He's also a musician, and he often leans on that as an outlet as well. Enjoy the dancing. We'll have your weather when we come back. Colette Kennedy joins us now for our full weather forecast. Colette, today was beautiful. We had so much sunshine.
Yeah, just a gorgeous pocket of sunshine over southwestern Ontario. So really nice to have that, because let me tell you, it wasn't necessarily the story a little bit further east or other parts of the province where snow squalls are making things pretty nasty on the roadways. But no, sunshine, and how about the mild temperatures that are still holding on at this hour? So we're coming in at 4 degrees, and we've got Chatham-Kent 2 degrees. Lots of sunshine there through the day. That westerly wind, though, sustained winds are decent enough at 20 to 30 kilometers an hour, but some stronger gusts. And if we really kind of look ahead, we're going to be dealing with these winds as we go through the night into tomorrow. Now, they back off a little bit for a little while, but then they start to ramp back up. The other thing that happens, they shift to the northwest, then back to the southwest and to the west. So really, we're going to see this secondary cold front that's going to come in later tomorrow. And when that one does, that's going to bring in some colder air. Now, I just want to show you, if we go in for a closer look, a few little flurries here coming down with some of the lake effect. Primarily, it is well to the north and coming off on the shores of Lake Huron, eastern shores there, really getting hammered. And there are some snow squall warnings in place up there towards Georgian Bay. Areas could be seeing 15 to 25 centimeters, because these things are going to go on all the way through tomorrow night before those winds back off, like I was showing you, towards Saturday. So we get some sunshine, a little bit of sunshine, but at times a lot of cloud cover too, because of those winds coming across the lake and picking up some of that moisture. So it'll be kind of intermittent. Where I see it more insured is into Saturday. And then there's going to be a system kind of sneaking to the south of us a little bit later the weekend, Sunday towards Monday. But if that one stays on that track south, we'll just pick up cloud cover from it and not significant snowfall. Overnight tonight, your temperatures do look like this. No, those winds make it drop off another 7 degrees in terms of how it feels. Now tomorrow, almost up to freezing. We could get there, but I'm putting us at -1 for the daytime high, Leamington as well. But that colder air, you see this low Friday night going closer to seasonal. In fact, it's a tiny bit below, and we haven't been used to that. We certainly haven't been used to daytime highs that are below seasonal. We'll certainly be seeing that on Saturday, but like I said, with some sunshine, Kat.
That's all I want to hear. Even if it's just a little bit, I'll take a little over nothing.
There are those little trade-offs, yep.
Exactly. Now, I've got a gem for you when we come back. I'm going to show you a mobile gym for dogs. Stay with us. Welcome back. Winter often makes it harder to get outdoors and get some exercise. That's as true for pets as it is for people. And for dog owners in particular, the weather and other challenges can make going out for a walk difficult. But there is a solution: a mobile gym for dogs.
You want to go for a run? Okay, let's go for a run. Come on, let's go. When it got colder, I didn't want to run anymore, and I was looking for alternatives. We started looking at other things we could do, and we came across in the US they had something similar, mobile dog gyms, and I said this would be perfect for Winnipeg. So we pull up to your home, and the first step is to bring your dog in, introduce him. Your dog doesn't know us, so we encourage you to come with us so you could, cheer on your dog, get it comfortable with us. First, I sit them on the treadmill, get them comfortable, let them smell it around, because the dogs like to smell, see what's going on. And then I encourage the dog to walk. Let's go. There we go. Come on. Let's go. We have 3 different treadmills, one for a small dog, one for a medium-sized dog, and one for a big dog. And I've done a dog as big as a Newfoundlander and dogs small as Chihuahuas. And yeah, they're self-propelled, non-motorized, so the dog keeps the pace. And yeah, they're specifically designed for dogs. Let's go.
I don't think I've ever seen a dog on a treadmill, but that was awesome. That is it for CBC Windsor News. Don't forget, for news anytime, you can go to our website, cbc.ca/Windsor. We're also on social media. You can check us out on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. The Rick Mercer Report is up next. Have yourselves a wonderful evening.